Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna start the part 3 of our Serendipity summer crochet top. I hope you had a good holiday during our Christmas break and you're ready to continue with your top. Okay, so let's go back to where we stopped in part 2. Okay, so by now you should have reached 21 double crochets right there in the middle, and then 11 here at the side, and then here at the extreme side just count how many double crochets and make sure that you have the same number of double crochets on each side. So it really doesn't matter how many, but you should have the same number on each side so that your blouse will be even. Okay, so in this round, the first round of part 3 is where we're gonna reduce the number of our double crochets to make that armhole. So I'm just moving to the right position here by doing slip stitches. So there I did 2 slip stitches so that I can get to that third space, and that is where we will start our double crochet. So 3. Okay, so I reduced by 2 double crochets, and now I'm gonna start doing 1 double crochet on each space. Okay, so here we reach the space, so I just chain 1 and skip 1 space to make that, to continue with the pattern that we started before. Okay, so count the number of double crochets there. All right, and now we start with the double crochets again. And remember, on this middle part there should always be 11 double crochets. And we reach the space again. So if you count it, you have 11 double crochets for this part. Okay, so at the side, okay, you don't need to make 11 there at the extreme side, but here in the middle there should always be 11 double crochets. And then we come to the space where we chain 1, and make a double crochet right in that space, so you can continue that pattern. All right, and now we make a total of 11 double crochets again. So when working on the double crochets in between those spaces, remember that the magic number is always 11. 11 double crochets. Now I chain 1 and skip 1 stitch and start again with the 11 double crochets. Alright, so now you can see we're starting a new pattern right there in the middle by making that space. And then you're gonna make 10 more double crochets, a total of 11. So as I said, 11 is the magic number of double crochets in between those chain 1 spaces. Alright, we're reaching that space. And if you count it, there you have total of 11 double crochets. And then we need to chain 1 and skip 1 stitch and proceed with 11 double crochets again. So I'm getting the hang of using this Furls crochet hook, and I think I really like it. Right now I've made 11, so I make sure to count it, and then I chain 1, skip 1 space, and proceed with the double crochet. So remember, at the side, okay, we might have different numbers of double crochets here at the side, but make sure that you have the same number on the other side of your top so that it's even. You should have 2 double crochets left, and you see the hole there, the space there in the middle, that will start the new pattern. Okay, just making sure that everything is even. 11 here, 11 here, the space, 11 here, 11 DC, and the rest of the double crochets at the side. Alright, now we're gonna continue. So you just turn over your work, and on this row we will reduce again by 2. So we're going to reduce again by removing 2 double crochets. So I'm just gonna slip stitch again to the right position, and 1 more. So 2 slip stitches to get into that right position, just like what we did in the previous row. Okay, so here we're gonna start our double crochet. So chain 3, and that counts as your first double crochet, and then do the rest of the double crochets before that space. And then chain 1 and 1 DC in that space. Alright, so I have 2, 4, 6 double crochets on this row. Alright, I'm just counting so I will remember when I get to the other side. Okay, and now we start with 11. So remember, we always do 11 double crochets in between those chain 1 spaces. Now I've reached the space. Okay, make sure that you have 11. Okay, I chain 1 and make 1 double crochet right there in the chain 1 space. Okay, I count that I have 11. And then do 10 more double crochets. So a total of 11. And now I have 11 double crochets, so I count it to make sure. Okay, I chain one, I make one double crochet right there, chain one again, skip one stitch, and make a double crochet. So you'll come up with this pattern. Okay, and now I have to make 10 more double crochets to make a total of 11. So it's always 11. That's the magic number for the double crochets in between those chain one spaces. Okay, we make the last double crochet right there in the space, and now I count to make sure that I have 11 double crochets, and then okay, make sure that it's the same, it's like a mirror of each side. So we chain one, skip one stitch, and make another set of 11 double crochets. And this is the last double crochet. So I make sure by counting, I chain one, skip one stitch, and do 6. That's what we counted from the other side, remember? Was it 6? Okay, 1, 2. Yes, I think so, it was 6. Alright, so we have 6 double crochets on this side and leaving the last 2 stitches, so it will be even with the other side of our top. So when reducing the double crochets for your armhole, I choose to just reduce by 2 stitches so that it won't be very drastic, and I want the formation of the armhole to be gradual and not too deep. So just 2 stitches, reducing by 2 stitches, I think will do the trick. So in this row, we're going to do that again. Just slip stitch 2 times to get in the right position. Okay, so we reduce again by 2, just like in the previous rounds. And we chain 3, which counts as your first double crochet. Okay, now we make 3 double crochets, and you see that we have reached the space. So just 3 on this side, and then chain 1 and do a double crochet right there in the space. And now you can start your set of 11 double crochets. So you need to make 10 more DCs. Alright. Now I have 11. Okay, I make sure by counting. and then chain one double crochet in the space, okay, remember to skip one stitch before you DC there in the space, and then you start again with the set of 11 double crochet stitches. Okay, I count to make sure I have 11, and then you have to chain one and skip one stitch, one DC right there in the space, and one more double crochet there in the next stitch, and then one more double crochet right there in the space. Okay, so I have 3 double crochets right there in the middle. I chain one, skip one stitch, and start again with the 11 double crochets. Now I have 11 again, 11 double crochets. I chain one and skip one, and then do the rest of the double crochets. So here another set of 11. Just make sure to count that I have 11 before I chain one and skip one stitch and make 3 double crochets. Okay, I know it's 3 because I remember from the start of this round, okay, that I need to make only 3, so we will just leave out those last 2 stitches, and it's the same as on the other side if you compare. Alright, and that's just the most important thing. So 11, 11, 3 in the middle, 11 here, 11 here, and 3 here at the side. So once again, the side is not very important. The number of double crochets at the side is not very important. So it's up to you if you want to reduce, or we may not have the same number of double crochets because of the size that you chose. Okay, but the important thing is that it's the same number as the other side, so that your top will be evenly made. Okay. Alright, in this round we're going to slip stitch only once because we only have 3 double crochets from the previous round, and then you chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. Chain 3. Alright, and then make a double crochet right there in the space. So actually you have to chain 4 for the space, but I don't want a very loose double crochet, so I just chain 3 and again start with 11 double crochets. So here we made 11 double crochets. We chain one, skip one stitch, and make the next set of 11 double crochets. Chain one, skip one stitch, and now we're gonna make the 5 double crochets right there in the middle. Okay, so that's the first stitch, and make one more double crochet in the next 3 stitches, and also 1 double crochet in that space. Total of 5 double crochets. Right. Now we chain one, skip one stitch, and make the set of 11 double crochets. I count it to make sure. Then I will chain one, skip one stitch, and start again to make another set of 11 double crochets. Okay, make sure to count. And we chain one and 1 double crochet right there in the middle. And that's our last stitch for this round. So again, we check that it's the same number as on the other side of the top. There's 1 there. Okay. 5 in the middle. And of course, your 11 DCs in between those chain 1 spaces. So I'm gonna compare it with this other top that I was making, that I already started. So this is the last round where we will make that stitches in the middle. So we have to start making the V shape of our blouse. So you can see the 5 stitches there in the middle. That's where we start to separate and make the V shape of our top. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So in the next round, we're still going to reduce, okay, the number of our double crochets. So I slip stitch right there in the chain 1 space. And then I chain 3, which counts as the first double crochet, and then I make 10 more double crochets. So this is a total of 11. So guys, what I'm trying to emphasize here is that the number on the side may not be the same as the number that you have there in your blouse may not be the same as the one I'm doing, because we have different sizes. For example, I chose the XL, so your blouse might be smaller or bigger, so we may not have the same number of side. But the important thing in there is you just have to gauge how much space or stitches you need to reduce so that you can form your armhole. And it shouldn't be a very big armhole or very small. The important thing is that it fits. If you don't want to reduce the number of DCs at the side to make an armhole, you can just keep on doing the pattern and form a square shape. Okay, that's also fine. It's up to you. Now I'm starting the next set of 11 double crochets. And make sure by counting. And okay, this is the part where you need to pay attention. So you chain 1, skip 1 stitch and make 1 double crochet there in the space. Make 2 more. Okay, so you can see that there are 5 double crochets from the previous round. So we're just gonna make 1 and 2, a total of 3. Okay, so you can see there a total of 3 double crochets in the middle, and that's gonna start our V shape of our blouse. So what you need to do is turn over your work, and from here we have to do this from now on. So every time we start a row, we're just gonna have to turn over our work. Okay, so I'm doing a slip stitch here to move to the right position. Chain 3. Okay, 1 double crochet right there in the next stitch. So actually you can just chain 2 there at the starting DC, but just to keep it even and to make it more easy to remember, it's always chain 3. And there I've started the next row of our neckline. Okay, so from now on you're just gonna have to work on one side of the blouse first. So we skip that space. So remember, chain 1, skip 1 space, and then do a set of 11 again, 11 double crochets. We chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and make the rest of the double crochets. So to end this row, we're gonna leave out, so we're still reducing for the armhole, so leave out the last 2 stitches and turn over your work to start the next row. So for this row, we're going to still continue with reducing. So we slip stitch 1 and then 1 more slip stitch to the next. Okay, we reduced by 2 double crochets, and then I chain 3, and that counts as your first double crochet. And I made 5 double crochets. So we may not have the same number of double crochets, but that's okay as long as you have the same number on the other side of your blouse later on. That will work fine. Chain 1, and skip 1 stitch and make 1 double crochet right there in the space, and the 10 more double crochets, a total of 11. Okay, we chain 1, skip 1 stitch, DC in that space, and then 2 more DC to make a total of 3 double crochets for our neckline over there. So we are working on one side of our top and reducing the number of double crochets at the side to make an armhole. Now we are working on the V shape of our blouse. That's why we need to work on one side, because we need to be turning over our work. To start this round, you slip stitch to the right position there and chain 3, and then do 2 double crochets in the next 2 spaces. Total of 3. Okay. So that's the neckline, the V-shape neckline of our top. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and do your set of 11. That's our 11th DC. Okay, count to make sure you have 11. And then you chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and make 2 more double crochets. So leave out the last 2 stitches because we're trying to reduce the double crochets to make that armhole. So when reducing the DCs for your armhole, it's actually up to you to gauge what kind of armhole you want to have, a deep one or just a shallow one. It's up to you. Okay, but you can follow my counting. This is where we end our row. So we just need to turn over our work to work on the next row. So check the shape of your armhole. If you're happy with it, you can make your own customizations. If you don't want a very big armhole, or it's up to you. Okay, but this is how I made mine. So you can customize according to your preference. Right. I like V-shaped tops because it's actually very flattering compared to round neck or square neck blouses. In the next row, you have to slip stitch again to get in that right position. And one more slip stitch. So I reduced again by 2 before I start my double crochets. So that chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. So I think here I'm making a set of 11, total of 11 double crochets. Okay, count that you have 11. So the first chain 3 counts as 1 DC. Okay, now I've reached that space. I have to chain 1, skip 1 stitch, 1 DC in that space, and 2 more DCs in the next 2 stitches. Now we turn over our work again. Okay, I slip stitch in the next space, chain 3, make 2 double crochets, a total of 3, Total of 3 double crochets for the side of our neckline. I skip chain 1, and skip 1 stitch and make a double crochet in the next stitch. Alright, and keep making the double crochets. Two, 4, 6, 8, 9. So I have 9 double crochets. Keep the last stitch so we can still keep on reducing our armhole, but I think this is the last round where we reduce. So in the next row we will not reduce anymore, but start by chaining 3. Make the double crochets. So even though we don't have 11 double crochets, make sure to still continue making that pattern. So we skip 1 space there, we chained 1, skip 1, and make 3 double crochets. To continue with the pattern of our neckline. So if you count, I only have 2, 4, 6, 8 double crochets on one side, then the chain 1 space, and then 3 double crochets for the neckline. Turn over your work, and we are almost finished with the shoulder part. So in this round, we're gonna stop slip stitching because we are almost near the shoulder part. So we won't slip stitch anymore. To continue the last or the final rows of our shoulder part. So here we just chain 3, make 2 double crochets in those 2 DCs. Okay, chain 1. So just skip the space and make a double crochet in the next stitch. And make 8, total of 8 double crochets, the same as the previous round. So no more reducing at the side and in the neckline. And the last one, that's number 8. So we don't need to reduce anymore in the neckline part and also in the armhole part. So we have a total of 8 DCs and 3 DCs right there. Okay, we're gonna do one more. So also for the length of the shoulder of your top, it depends on you if you want a lower neckline. So it's up to you to gauge how low your neckline will be or how high it will be. So in my case, I think this will be the last row because I already tried it on and I don't want a very low neckline. So in this round, we're just doing the same as the previous round, 8 double crochets. First you count if it's 8. We chain 1 just to maintain the pattern, and then skip that space and make 3 double crochets in the next. Make 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches. Alright, and I think that ends this side of our blouse. So obviously you're gonna have to do that same procedure or same pattern for the other side of your top, because if you see, we've only been doing one side. Okay, so you can see the reduction of double crochets to make that armhole and how we form the V shape of our top. So all you're gonna have to do is make that same thing for the other side of your blouse. So you can see I'm measuring it against the one I already made. So as I mentioned earlier, it's up to you. If you want a lower neckline, then you can just keep on doing those double crochets here at the top. Okay, in my case, I think this is enough for me. I don't want a very low neckline. To start the other side, okay, you're gonna have to start here at the other armhole. So we're gonna start here in this space. Okay, but because that's where we started. That's where we started on the other side of your blouse. So make sure to check the other side. Okay, I'm gonna show you. So here at the other side, I started right there in the space in the middle. So I'm also starting here in the space. Okay, make your double crochets. Count that you have the same number of double crochets on the other side of your blouse. So we're gonna skip that space, but first chain 1, skip that space, and start your double crochet right there in the chain 1 space. And then make your set of 11 double crochets. So count that you have 11. Alright, so we reach the middle part. Okay, we chain one, skip one stitch, make one double crochet right there in the chain one space, and then one more double crochet in the next space, and one more double crochet in the next space. Total of 3. That starts the neckline. That forms the V shape of the neckline for our blouse. So you're just gonna have to keep doing that, the same as on the other side of our top. So remember, you have to turn over your work while working on every row of this blouse. So here I'm turning it over. You turn over your blouse like this so that you can start going up to the shoulder part. Okay, so in order to make that V shape, you have to slip stitch one stitch to move in that right position, and then you're gonna make that 3 double crochets again in the middle. So that chain 3 counts as the first double crochet, and 2 more double crochets to complete that 3 double crochet set. You chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and continue with your double crochets. So I hope by this time you're starting to be familiar with the pattern. It's up to you to make customizations for the armhole. You don't have to strictly follow the count that I'm giving. It's up to you to estimate how big the armhole will be or how low your neckline. So for more experienced crocheters, you can actually just gauge how your neckline or your armhole will look like. Okay, so here we are making the 11 double crochets. We chain 1, skip 1, and continue with the double crochet. So remember, until this time we are still reducing the armhole, reducing the number of double crochets for the armhole. Just use the other side as a basis for your counting. So whenever you get to the edge, just look at the other side of your top and use that as a basis. Okay, but usually we reduce by 2, so you can skip the last 2 stitches, okay, or you just count and then compare with the other side of your top to make sure that your top is coming out even, right? So from this time, actually, you can do this by yourself. Just use the other side of the top as a basis of your count. So you can just check the other side and use that to guide you in completing this side of your top. But anyway, for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just gonna keep going and keep filming this video. So it's up to you if you still want to watch this part, or just keep doing it by yourself. Anyway, I will continue to film it and guide you until the very end. Okay, so here I've reached the last row of my V-neck top. So you can see this is how it turned out. So obviously you need to make one more. Okay, you can see the armhole and the V-neck and the pattern. It's very simple and yet very elegant looking. So you need to make one more of this and be able to connect the two parts. Sew the sides together and the shoulders together, and then you can finish your summer top. Sew the sides and sew the two shoulders together. And that's how to make our Serendipity summer crochet top. Okay, alright, so if you like this video, you like this tutorial, please don't forget to like this video and share to your friends, share it to all your platforms. And if you subscribe to my channel, I would be really happy to see you back again. Okay, that's it for today, guys. I'm feeling a bit under the weather, but I hope everything is okay with you. See you in the next one. Bye.